what nobody tells you about the golden age of R&B. The music was real, the talent was real, the exploitation was just as real. We're talking about artists who generated hundreds of millions for their labels and couldn't pay rent, who went broke with Grammys on the shelf, who were forbidden by contract from even mentioning the hits they'd built. One of them died on welfare. These are the 10 most devastating cases. The greatest financial exploitation in R&B history. Number 10, Toni Braxton. The number that opens this case is $2,000, not a monthly payment, not a quarterly check. That's the royalty disbursement Toni Braxton received after her first 2 albums generated a combined $170 million in sales for Layface and Arista Records. $2,000. Her contract paid her 33 cents per album, not 33%, 33 cents. And before she ever saw that, the label subtracted recording costs, video budgets, tour support, promotional expenses, all of it loaded against her royalty account like a ledger designed to keep the balance permanently near zero. After every deduction, she was taking home roughly 20 cents per copy. On $170 million in revenue, she was selling out arenas. She was the reason people bought those records. And she was walking away with 20 cents a copy. When she tried to renegotiate, when she laid those numbers on the table and said, plainly, this needs to change, Layface didn't offer more. They countersued her for breach of contract. Left her one exit, the kind nobody chooses until there's nothing else. January 1998. Chapter 7, Bankruptcy, $5 million in debt. Unbreak My Heart was still on every radio station in the country. And if you've ever done everything right, every single thing, and watched someone else collect the benefit, you know that kind of injustice doesn't feel like bad luck. It feels designed. Here's what still gets me. During the legal proceedings, Babyface, co-founder of Layface Records, testified, said Toni had been treated unfairly. The man who helped build the label told a courtroom that one of its biggest stars was getting robbed. She eventually settled for $20 million under a 10-year gag order. A decade of legally enforced silence about what had been done to her. In 2017, the gag order expired. She told it all in her memoir. People were still shocked. Number 9, New Edition. They were 5 kids from the Roxbury projects in Boston. Teenagers. Some of them barely teenagers. And they were about to put one of the most successful debut singles in R&B history on the charts. In 1982, they won a talent showcase run by producer Maurice Starr. He liked what he saw, signed them to Streetwise Records for $500 and a Betamax player. Not even a VCR, a Betamax. Already obsolete by the time he handed it over. They recorded Candy Girl. It hit number 1 in the United Kingdom, 43 straight weeks on the Billboard R&B charts. People were calling them the new Jackson 5 before the year was out. Then they went on their first major national tour. And when they came back, and back to Roxbury, back to the projects, each of them got a check in the mail for their share of the tour. The check was for $1.87. 5 kids, a #1 hit. 43 weeks on the charts, a full national tour, $1.87. Streetwise had taken everything else. Production costs, tour expenses, management fees, advances, all charged against 5 teenagers who had no attorney, no agent, no one in that room who was there for them. Just a contract they were too young to understand. If you grew up in the 80s, hearing that song at every cookout, every school dance, every house party, you heard a #1 hit built on a deal that paid its artists less than $2 for all of it. Their parents sued to get them out. And here's the remarkable thing. New Edition were tough enough to survive it. Bobby Brown, Belle Biv DeVoe, Boys to Two. Men, an entire lineage of R&B grew out of what those 5 kids built. They built a dynasty on $1.87. Real talk, only 9% of you are subscribed. That hurts. We're spending hours digging through archives, fact-checking every detail, bringing these stories back to life. And if you're watching this far, you clearly care. So hit subscribe. It's free and takes 2 seconds. Now, to my subscribers, barely any of you have joined the membership. And honestly, that stings even more. You know the work we put in. You keep coming back. If these videos have ever made you feel something, if this music means something to you, join the membership. It's $1 coffee a month, and it's the only way we keep this going. Let's build this together. All right, back to it. #8, Mary Wells. You know her voice even if you don't know her name. My Guy, 1964, #1 pop, #1 R&B, written by Smokey Robinson specifically for her. The Beatles, and I mean the actual Beatles, named her their favorite American singer and invited her to open their first UK tour. She was Motown's first superstar. Before Diana Ross became Diana Ross. Before the Temptations became the Temptations. Mary Wells was the one who put that label on the map. And when she turned 21, she used a legal clause in her contract to leave. Her first husband had convinced her. A $500,000 offer from 20th Century Fox Records was waiting. More money, more freedom, a fresh start. She left. That was the last hit she'd ever have. Fox, then Atco, then Jubilee, then Reprise. One label after another, each promising something the previous one hadn't delivered. None of them could replicate what Smokey Robinson and Motown's machine had built around her voice. And there were persistent reports, never proven but widely believed, that Motown quietly discouraged radio stations from spinning her new records. Whether that was true or not, the stations stopped playing her the way they once had. By the 1970s, she was working the oldies circuit, doing what she could. Then in 1990, she was diagnosed with laryngeal cancer. The cancer took her voice. She had no health insurance. Medical bills destroyed whatever she had left. She sold her home. Fellow artists, Aretha Franklin, Diana Ross, Bruce Springsteen, organized benefit concerts just to help her survive. She died at 49. The woman who bankrolled Motown's early existence died with almost nothing, and the label that built its foundation on her voice kept every master. Everything she had made, all of it. She helped launch the greatest black music label in American history. They kept the receipts. Number 7, Stax Records. Most exploitation in this industry happens slowly. A royalty rate buried in fine print. A check that never quite adds up. Years of quiet theft disguised as standard practice.
That's a sex machine to all the chicks.
What happened to the artists of Stax Records happened all at once. Stax was Memphis, Tennessee, Isaac Hayes, the Staple Singers, Booker T and the MGs, the Dramatics.
He's a complicated man, but no one understands.
It was the sound of Southern soul, grittier than Motown, harder working, deeper. If Motown was polished, Stax was soul in its working clothes. And here's what those artists found out in 1968. When Stax parted ways with their distributor, Atlantic Records. The entire catalog. Every song they had ever recorded. Every master tape of every hit they'd made belonged to Atlantic. Not Stax. Not the artist.
A bad mother. What I'm talking about, Sharon?
Atlantic had owned it all the whole time. Years of music, gone in a clause. They rebuilt. Al Bell made a new distribution deal with CBS Records in 1972. $6 million in funding. Real infrastructure. A fresh start. Then Clive Davis got fired from CBS. And the people who replaced him allegedly let the Stax deal quietly collapse, refusing to properly distribute their records while the debt accumulated. By December 1975, federal marshals walked into the building and gave everyone 15 minutes to leave. The company was seized. Artists who were owed royalties never received them. Jim Stewart, who co-founded the label, had mortgaged his home trying to save it. He lost the house. The building was padlocked. Stax's entire catalog was auctioned off on courthouse steps. And whether CBS deliberately strangled Stax to absorb the wreckage or simply mismanaged a deal they didn't care to honor, I'll let you decide. Either way, the artist paid for it.
Right on. You see this cat chef?
Isaac Hayes, the Staple Singers, the Dramatics, Rufus Thomas, artists who gave that label everything and their music was sold off like furniture. Number 6, TLC. Let me say this out loud because it doesn't quite land until you hear it. Crazy Sexy Cool sold 23 million copies worldwide. The best-selling album by any American girl group ever. It generated $75 million for Layface Records. Left Eye, Chili, and T-Boz had 2 Grammys and a Diamond certification. Each of them took home about $50,000. Not $50,000 a year. $50,000 total from the Diamond album, from $75 million in label revenue. Here's the mechanism. TLC's deal with LaFace, signed through a management company run by the singer Pebbles, who also represented the label, paid them 7% of the retail price per album, before expenses, and the expenses were everything. Studio costs, video production, tour support, promotions, each one charged back against their royalty account like a slow flood building behind a dam. After all of it, they were making about 20 cents per copy, split 3 ways. They weren't given a copy of their own contract. They negotiated using the same attorneys as Pebbles. Nobody in that room was there for them. July 3rd, 1995. TLC filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, $3.5 million in debt. Crazy Sexy Cool was still on every station. And here's the detail that still burns. Pebbles owned the name TLC, not T-Boz, not Left Eye, not Chili. The manager who brokered the deal owned the name the three of them had built into something the world recognized. T-Boz said it plainly, publicly on camera. Everybody treats us like stars now except our own record company. She said that with a diamond album in the house. The contract TLC signed was technically legal, every page of it. That might be the most disturbing thing about this entire list. Number 5, Marvin Gaye. You probably know this part of the story. Marvin Gaye, Motown, What's Going On? Sexual Healing, one of the most gifted artists this music has ever produced, but here's what happened in the decade between his genius and his death. Motown had been advancing Marvin money for years. Cash against future royalties, a structure that kept artists in a permanent cycle of debt to the label. Record to pay off the advance, accept another advance, record again. By the late 1970s, Marvin Gaye owed Berry Gordy's company more money than he could reasonably clear. Trapped inside his own label's accounting, then his marriage to Anna Gordy fell apart. Anna was Berry Gordy's sister. She filed for divorce in 1975. She wanted $1 million. Marvin didn't have it, so his attorney came up with an arrangement that was either a creative solution or the saddest transaction in the history of R&B. Marvin would record a new album, give Anna the advance, $305,000, and sign over the first $295,000 in royalties from that recording to her as settlement. That album was Here, My Dear, a raw, aching double album about the death of his marriage, his private grief, recorded and pressed and sold publicly as a financial instrument to pay off a divorce to the sister of the man who owned his label. By 1981, Gaye had fled the country. Belgium, a tax exile. The IRS was owed millions he couldn't pay. He was isolated and deep in addiction. When Sexual Healing came in 1982, it felt like a resurrection. 2 Grammys, sold-out tours, a reason to believe the worst was over. April 1st, 1984, shot by his father. One day before his 45th birthday. His net worth at death, negative $9 million. Number 4, Sly Stone. Think about what the early 1970s sounded like at their best. Everyday people. Thank you. Fella Timmy be myself, Ogden. Family Affair. 3 number 1 records.
Nobody wants to be left out.
Sly Stone was one of the most important figures in soul music in all of American music during that era. He lived in a 5,400 square foot mansion in Beverly Hills. Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Wonder and Janis Joplin came through the front door. He was untouchable.
Nobody wants to blow.
In 1984, he sold his entire music publishing catalog to Michael Jackson for a reported $1 million. Those songs had made him famous and would keep generating income for decades.
You see it in the blood. Okay.
$1 million at the time may have felt like fast money. What that catalog would have been worth in the years ahead, that's a number nobody said out loud then. Then in 1989, he signed a management contract with a man named Jerry Goldstein, a contract that handed Goldstein control of Sly Stone's finances in exchange for a regular weekly paycheck. Sly trusted him.
You can't stay 'cause you've been somewhere else.
For 20 years, Stone would later allege in federal court, Goldstein controlled the money.
You're still checking each other out.
The royalties that were still flowing from Sly's catalog, hits that never stopped being played, never stopped being sampled, never stopped generating income, allegedly never arrived.
'Cause your heart broke down as a family affair.
By 2009, the payments had stopped entirely. He was evicted from his rental in Napa Valley. Then the hotels ran out too.
Another child grows up to be.
A white camper van parked on a residential street in Crenshaw, Los Angeles. A retired couple on that block made sure he ate once a day. Let him use their shower. Sly Stone, the man who played Woodstock, was recording new music on a laptop inside a van. His music everywhere, his money nowhere. He sued for $50 million. A judge awarded him $5 million in 2018. I'll let you sit with that gap. Number 3, Little Richard. Before there was rock and roll, there was Richard Wayne Penniman. And before there was Little Richard, the legend, there was a black kid from Macon, Georgia, who sent a demo tape to Specialty Records in 1955 because he needed to help his mother and his 12 siblings. I was a dumb black kid and my mama had 12 kids and my daddy was dead, he said later. I wanted to help them, so I took whatever was offered. What was offered was 1/2 cent per record sold, not 0.5%, 1/2 cent. Every time someone bought one of his records, Tutti Frutti, Long Tall Sally, Good Golly Miss Molly, songs that would become the foundation of rock and roll, Little Richard received 1/2 of 1 cent. And Art Rupe, the owner of Specialty, reportedly bought the rights to Tutti Frutti for $50. $50 for a song that would be played on every radio in America and then the world for the next 70 years. When Tutti Frutti exploded on the R&B charts, the industry responded by having Pat Boone record a cleaned-up version for white audiences. Boone's cover charted higher on the pop charts than Richard's original. And Little Richard received nothing from that cover. Nothing. To the same song, more profit, none of it to the man who made it. He left Specialty after 18 months, breaking a 3-year contract. Because he left early, the label made him forfeit all future royalties, every cent, forever. In 1984, he sued 3 record companies, including Specialty, for royalties he said he'd never received. In 1988 at the Grammys, he stood at the microphone and told the room, "I am the architect of rock and roll." The audience laughed. He wasn't joking. And if you've ever built the whole thing, started it from nothing, and watched other people get credited and compensated while you had to fight on a sidewalk for what was yours, that moment in 1988 hits a little differently. Number 2, Jackie Wilson.
I'm at your side evermore. That's why you love.
If you know anything about what stage performance can be, you know Jackie Wilson.
And you know he never showed his face again.
Michael Jackson said as a child he would watch Jackie Wilson and try to understand what he was doing. higher and higher. Reet, petite, lonely teardrops, Mr. Excitement, the greatest stage performer of his generation and maybe ever. And here's what Nat Tarnopol did with that greatness. Tarnopol ran Brunswick Records. He managed Jackie Wilson's money, had power of attorney over his finances. He was supposed to handle the taxes, manage the accounts, make sure the business ran so Jackie could focus on being the most electrifying man on any stage in America.
Just keep it up.
In 1961, Jackie Wilson earned $263,000 in a single year. The average American salary then was around $5,000. He should have been set for life. He was broke. The IRS seized his family home. Years of royalties, taxes Tarnopol was supposed to be filing, payments that were supposed to be made had quietly disappeared. And according to a federal indictment, that wasn't the only mechanism. Brunswick was allegedly making hundreds of thousands of dollars in undeclared record shipments, sales that never made it onto the official books. So Wilson was never paid royalties on those records at all. In 1975, Tarnopol and 18 other Brunswick executives were indicted on federal charges of mail fraud and tax evasion. Prosecutors allege Brunswick owed Wilson at least $1 million, possibly far more. Then on September 29th, 1975, while those indictments were being processed, Jackie Wilson collapsed on stage at a show in New Jersey. Massive heart attack. He fell into a semi-comatose state he would never fully leave. He spent the next 8 years in a nursing home, unable to speak, unable to pursue the lawsuit that might have been his. Tarnopol's conviction was overturned on appeal. Jackie Wilson died in January 1984. He died owing money to Brunswick Records. He died owing the IRS $300,000. The man who taught Michael Jackson how to move died in a nursing home with nothing. Number 1, Florence Ballard. In 1959, a 16-year-old girl from the Brewster Douglas housing projects in Detroit assembled a group of neighborhood friends into a singing group. She recruited Diana Ross. She recruited Mary Wilson. Florence Ballard is the reason the Supremes existed. She sang on 9 number-1 hits. She was one of the founding voices of Motown's golden era, the most successful black music group of the 1960s, and she put it together as a teenager in the projects. In 1967, Berry Gordy pushed her out. She received a settlement to leave the group she had built, $160,000. And as part of that settlement, written into the legal agreement she had to sign to receive the money, she was forbidden from mentioning she had ever been a Supreme. She could not tell people she had been in the Supremes, could not use that history to launch a solo career, could not trade on her own identity. She handed her settlement money to an attorney to manage. He handled it poorly. By the early 1970s, it was gone. Her husband had left. The house was in foreclosure. She was in the Detroit projects again, not visiting, living, with 3 young daughters and no income. Florence Ballard applied for welfare. The The woman who co-founded the most successful female group in American history was on welfare. She developed alcoholism. She lost herself in a way that had nothing to do with talent and everything to do with what had been taken from her. In 1975, an insurance settlement from a separate dispute gave her just enough to buy a small house. She was trying to come back. She'd reconciled with Diana Ross. She had bookings lined up. On February 22nd, 1976, Florence Ballard died of cardiac arrest. She was 32 years old, 9 #1 hits. A legacy that still lives in every note the Supremes ever sang. And at the end, she couldn't even say she'd been there.